Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear me today, not just with your ears, but with your spirit. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to wake something up in you. Because you are one decision, one bold action, one moment of courage away from a completely different life. You are Oneo, you are a Boai from a different life. I know you might be sitting there thinking, what can change in 1 hour? I've been broke for years. I've been stuck for months. I've been tired, frustrated, overlooked, doubted for a lifetime. What difference can 60 minutes make? Let me tell you something. Everything can change in 1 hour if you decide. You see, transformation doesn't take time. It takes commitment. It takes that moment when you say, enough. I'm done playing small. I'm done doubting myself. I'm done letting fear write my story. That's the hour when your life begins to change. Now, I wasn't born confident. I didn't come into this world with a golden voice or a perfect plan. No, I came into this world like many of you, uncertain, searching, struggling to find my place. I remember being counted out, underestimated, laughed at. But I also remember the hour I decided that's not how my story ends. Some of you are sitting on a dream right now, sitting on it like it's some fragile glass that might break. But let me tell you something, dreams don't break. They break YOU when you don't pursue them. You're sitting on books that haven't been written, businesses that haven't been launched, songs that haven't been sung, inventions the world's waiting for. And all of it is locked behind one thing, your decision. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now, you're 1 hour away from a different life. If you decide that your past will no longer hold your future hostage, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't need a degree in success. All you need is the courage to act, the faith to keep going, and the refusal to quit. Let me ask you a question. What if this hour, this very one, was the turning point? What if this was the hour you got tired of the excuses, tired of the fear, tired of waiting on somebody to come save you? Nobody is coming. That's the truth. There is no rescue mission. You are the hero you've been waiting for. I've seen people turn it all around in a single hour. I've seen a man walk into a gym 100 pounds overweight, crying in the parking lot before he stepped in. That was the hour he made a decision. Now he's 130 pounds lighter and inspiring others. I've seen a woman walk out of an abusive relationship with nothing but a suitcase and her dignity. That was the hour she got her power back. 1 hour, one choice, one act of defiance against fear. And I get it. Fear is loud. Doubt is persuasive. That voice in your head will say, you'll fail before. But I'm telling you, that voice is a liar. It's not there to guide you. It's there to keep you small. You know what you've got to do. You've got to talk back. When fear says, you can't, you say, watch me. When doubt says, who do you think you are? You say, I'm someone who's not finished yet. When your past says, you've always been this way, you say, that may be true, but this is where I change it. Let me tell you something else. There is greatness inside you. You may not feel it every day, but it's there. You may have buried it under pain, under failure, under other people's opinions, but it's still there, still breathing, still waiting. You're not too old. You're not too broken. It is not too late. You're 1 hour away from a different life, but not just any life, a life where you walk in your purpose, a life where you speak with power, a life where you wake up excited, not exhausted, where you love who you see in the mirror. But let me warn you that an hour will demand something from you. It will cost you your comfort zone. It will cost you some old friends. It might cost you your excuses, but what you'll gain is freedom. You might sweat. You might cry. You might fall. But hear me, you will rise. The clock is ticking, not on your dream, on your hesitation. You have been called for more. You were born to lead, to inspire, to build something that outlives you. You are not average. You are not ordinary. You are necessary. This is the hour to stop asking for permission to be great. This is the hour to take your shot. This is the hour to pick up the phone, to write the first page, to submit the application, to get back up, to say yes to your life. Don't wait for the perfect time. Create it. Don't wait for approval. Own it. Don't wait for fear to leave. Move anyway. 1 hour from now, your life could be on a new path. 1 hour from now, you could be walking in a whole new direction. Not because something magical happened, but because you showed up differently. You made a decision to change your mind, your actions, and your future. And if you can do that in 1 hour, imagine what you can do in 1 day, 1 week, 1 year. But it starts here and now. So stand up inside yourself and declare, this is my hour. This is my time. My life begins enodabu. You are one decision away from a completely different life. That might sound like a bold statement, but it's the absolute truth. Your life right now is a reflection of the choices you've made up until this point. Every habit, every belief, every routine, they were all built on decisions. Some of those decisions were conscious. Others were made passively by default or even out of fear. But all of them shaped your reality. And the moment you realize that, you gain your power back. Because if decisions built this life, then a new decision can build a new one. There are moments in life that don't announce themselves as turning points. They don't come with flashing lights or a drum roll. They come as whispers. Quiet thoughts like, what if I tried one more time? Or what if I didn't quit today? That's the seed of change. That's where your life begins to pivot, not with grand gestures, but with a single moment of clarity and courage. The decision to move forward instead of standing still. The decision to believe instead of doubt. The decision to act, even if your hands are shaking. Too many people wait for change to come from outside, waiting on luck, waiting on a miracle, waiting on someone to choose them. But change doesn't come knocking at your door. You choose it. You decide to interrupt the cycle. You decide that your past no longer gets to dictate your future. It doesn't matter if you failed 100 times. It doesn't matter how many people said you weren't good enough. It doesn't even matter how long you've been stuck. The moment you decide to rewrite your story, the pen is back in your hand. Think about it. One decision can create a ripple effect that alters everything. The decision to speak up. The decision to walk away from what's breaking you. The decision to pursue the dream that's been haunting you in the middle of the night. You don't need to know the whole path. You just need to decide to start. Most people get paralyzed by the size of the journey, but journeys are built one step at a time, and steps begin with decisions. The truth is, fear will always try to hijack your choices. It will whisper every worst case scenario. It will tell you you're not ready. It will remind you of your past failures. But fear is loudest right before the breakthrough. It's the body's response to stepping into the unknown. But greatness lives in the unknown. Growth lives in the unknown. Everything you've ever wanted is sitting on the other side of that uncomfortable, life-altering decision you've been afraid to make. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing. Willing to choose a higher standard. Willing to demand more from yourself. Willing to believe that you are worthy of something greater. Life won't hand you a different reality. It responds to your decisions. And once you make a powerful decision, the world around you begins to shift. Opportunities appear. People show up. Doors open. Not because you were lucky, but because you finally aligned with the life you were meant to live. That power, that ability to alter the course of your entire life, isn't in the hands of fate. It's in you. It always has been. One decision. That's all it takes. Transformation doesn't take time. It takes commitment. That's a truth most people miss. We've been conditioned to believe that change is a slow, drawn-out process, that we need years of preparation, that we need all the answers before we start. But in reality, real change happens in a moment. The moment you commit fully and without turning back. That's when the shift begins. It's not the clock that transforms you. It's the clarity, the decision, the fire inside that says, no more waiting. This is it. People talk about how long it takes to reach success, how long it takes to get fit, to heal, to build something great. But those are just timelines. The real transformation, the moment when everything changes, always begins with commitment. That inner shift where you say, I'm all in, where you stop negotiating with your fears, stop playing tug of war with your excuses, and decide that you're going to do whatever it takes. That's the ignition. That's where the engine of your new life starts running. Commitment is not convenience. It's not about doing the work when it's easy or when you feel motivated. It's about showing up when no one's clapping for you, when no one sees the grind, when the results are invisible, but your vision is still alive. It's about staying loyal to your goals long after the mood you made them in has faded. That's what separates the ones who change their lives from the ones who keep circling the same mountain. Time doesn't change people. We know people who've had years and are still stuck in the same patterns, same jobs, same excuses. What they lacked wasn't time. It was commitment. Time without commitment is just delay. It's procrastination dressed up as patience. But when you commit, you collapse the timeline. You accelerate the growth. You start walking with purpose, not passivity. Commitment means doing the thing even when the emotion is gone. It means not entertaining the thought of quitting. It means burning the boats, removing the plan B, and stepping fully into plan A like it's the only option. Because when you leave room for doubt, doubt will grow. When you leave the back door open, you'll eventually take it. But when you commit with your whole being, your mind, your actions, your heart, you begin to walk in power most people never tap into. There's a difference between being interested and being committed. When you're interested, you do what's convenient. When you're committed, you do what's necessary. That's the line between temporary effort and lasting transformation. You can't tiptoe into greatness. You can't casually change your life. You've got to throw yourself into it. You've got to lean into discomfort. You've got to stretch your limits on purpose and stop looking for ways out. Commitment makes your intentions real. It forces your mind to stop looking for shortcuts and start focusing on solutions. It rewires your thoughts. It builds mental muscle. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And you start declaring, it will work because I won't stop until it does. That energy, that refusal to retreat is what bends the universe in your favor. And don't confuse commitment with perfection. You will fall. You will fail. You will have moments of doubt. But when you're truly committed, those moments don't stop you. They shape you. They become fuel. Because commitment isn't about always getting it right. It's about always coming back, always standing up, always moving forward. You are the hero you've been waiting for. That's not just a nice idea. It's a reality most people haven't accepted yet. Too many of us grow up believing that someone is going to come save us. That one day someone will recognize our potential, fix our situation, pull us out of the mess, open the door, or tell us we're finally enough. We spend years waiting on that moment, that person, that breakthrough. But the truth is no one is coming. And that's not something to mourn. That's something to rise into. Because the moment you realize the power was always in you, that's the moment you begin to change everything. The hero you've been waiting for isn't some mentor or expert or leader. It's the version of you who's buried underneath doubt, fear, procrastination, and guilt. It's the version of you that's unshaken by setbacks, relentless in pursuit, clear in purpose. That version isn't created when things get easy. It's revealed when you stop running from yourself, when you stop making excuses, when you stop outsourcing your strength to people who don't understand your fight. You've got to stop waiting to be chosen. You were born chosen, but it's your responsibility to choose yourself every single day. Being the hero means taking ownership, not blame, not shame, ownership. Ownership of your story, ownership of your healing, ownership of your dreams. It means no longer pointing fingers or waiting for permission. It means asking the hard questions. What can I do with what I have where I am right now? Because heroes don't wait for ideal conditions. They rise in the middle of chaos. They take control of what they can and let go of what they can't. And they don't let circumstances define their worth. You don't need to have superpowers to be the hero. You don't need a cape or applause. You need courage. You need the willingness to keep going when it's hard, to keep believing when it doesn't make sense, to keep fighting when everything in you says quit. Being the hero means being the one who stands back up, the one who refuses to stay down, the one who shows others what's possible simply by becoming it. There will be times when your own mind will turn against you, when your inner critic gets loud, when your past comes creeping in to remind you of all the times you fell short. But that's when you've got to talk back. That's when you remind yourself of every battle you've survived, every tear you've turned into strength, every moment you kept going when giving up would have been easier. That's the hero's voice. It doesn't scream, it decides, it declares, it shows up, not because it's fearless, but because it's willing. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to show up for yourself every day, even in the small things, especially in the small things. Heroes are not made in front of crowds. They're made in early mornings, in silent decisions, in the dark moments no one sees. They're made in discipline, in self-respect, in relentless belief. And when you finally see yourself as the hero, everything changes. Your standards rise. Your excuses die. You stop asking if you're worthy, and you start showing that you are. You start walking like your life has weight. You stop settling for crumbs and start building tables. You stop waiting for someone to unlock the door and realize the key was always in your hand. Your dream doesn't die. It waits for you to show up. That's the truth so many people forget when life starts to feel heavy and progress feels slow. Dreams don't have expiration dates. They don't vanish because time passed, because you got off track, or because life got in the way. A dream may go quiet. It may get buried under bills, heartbreak, responsibilities, and fear, but it doesn't die. It waits. It waits for the version of you that's ready to believe in it again. You were born with something inside you that calls you forward, something uniquely yours, something not everyone will understand, and that's okay. Your dream isn't meant to make sense to everyone. It's not meant to fit in a box. It's meant to stretch you, to pull greatness out of you, to grow you into someone stronger than who you were yesterday. But that dream won't come alive until you show up. Not halfway, not occasionally, fully, consistently, intentionally, because it responds to your level of presence, your level of belief, your level of action. Sometimes people think their dream is gone because the path got messy. They assume failure is a sign to quit. But failure is just part of the road. It's not a dead end. It's a checkpoint, a test to see if you still want what you said you wanted. A moment to separate wishful thinking from true desire. Your dream isn't asking for perfection. It's asking for your participation. It's asking you to remember why it mattered in the first place and to act like it still does. There are people walking around carrying dreams they've never shared, not because they don't care, but because they've been convinced it's too late. They tell themselves the window closed, the opportunity passed, the moment's gone. But the only thing that's gone is their belief in themselves. The dream is still there, waiting, whispering, calling out every time they see someone else living a version of what they once imagined for themselves. That ache, that tug. That's the dream saying, I'm still here. Come find me. No matter how far off track you think you've gone, you can always return to your vision. You can always reconnect. The dream didn't leave. You just stopped answering the call. Maybe because of fear. Maybe because of people who didn't see your value. Maybe because you failed and it hurt too much to try again. But your dream isn't judging you. It's waiting with open arms for you to step back in with new wisdom, new strength, new fight. Sometimes the dream needs you to evolve before it can manifest. It needs you to grow into the person who can carry the weight of it. That's why the waiting seasons exist. That's why the process matters. The delays, the struggles, the detours, they're not the death of the dream. They're preparation. They're shaping you into the kind of person who doesn't just get the dream, but keeps it, protects it, and multiplies it. The truth is, the longer you avoid it, the louder the inner frustration gets. That's not failure. That's misalignment. You were never meant to just survive. You were meant to create, to inspire, to rise. Your dream is part of that calling. You don't have to know how it will all unfold. You just have to be bold enough to return to it, to pick it up, dust it off, and say, I'm ready now. Because when you finally show up with conviction, with courage, with a decision to stop running, the dream responds. It always has. It always will. The clock is ticking on your hesitation, not your potential. Your ability is still there. Your gift hasn't disappeared. Your potential hasn't gone anywhere. But every moment you hesitate, every moment you delay, every time you say, maybe later, you're trading progress for comfort. And comfort, though it feels good in the moment, is the enemy of growth. Hesitation is not neutral. It's not harmless. It's costing you. It's stealing opportunities, draining time, and keeping your future on pause. Potential means nothing without action. You can be brilliant, gifted, talented, driven. But if you hesitate, if you second guess every move, if you keep waiting until everything feels right, your potential will sit unused. The dream doesn't die because you weren't capable. It fades because you never moved. Hesitation whispers lies like, you're not ready. You need more time. What if you fail? But the truth is, every moment you hesitate is a moment lost. And lost moments add up to lost years. The world doesn't wait for you to be confident. It doesn't pause until you feel worthy. It keeps moving. And while you're stuck overthinking, someone else with less talent, but more courage is out there building, trying, failing, and learning. That's the difference. It's not always about who's the most skilled. It's about who's willing to move while others hesitate. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. You need to stop asking if you're ready and start trusting that the process will shape you as you go. Hesitation comes from fear, and fear thrives in silence. The longer you sit still, the louder fear becomes. It magnifies every doubt, every insecurity, every past mistake. But fear only has power when you stop moving. Action is the antidote to fear. The moment you take even the smallest step, you break the cycle, you disrupt the hesitation, you reclaim your power. You remind yourself that you're not a victim of circumstances, you're a creator of outcomes. Too often we think we need a guarantee. We want to know the result before we commit to the effort. But life doesn't work like that. You can't grow without risk. You can't evolve without uncertainty. Every great leap forward is made without a full picture, without a perfect plan. What matters is the leap, not the landing. You will figure it out on the way. You will build the wings as you fall, but none of that happens if you keep stalling at the edge. Your hesitation isn't protecting you. It's robbing you. It's robbing you of momentum, of self-respect, of purpose. Every time you know what you should do, but don't do it, a little piece of you loses trust in yourself. And that erosion of trust is what keeps people stuck. Not lack of ability, but lack of belief built by too many moments of hesitation. You build confidence by doing the thing, not by waiting until you feel confident. You become ready by starting before you are. There will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a time when everything is lined up just right. The path only becomes clear as you walk it. You will stumble. You will get it wrong, but you will also grow. You will gain clarity. You will develop resilience. And you will find out that what looked like risk was really the doorway to your next level. But you only walk through that door when you stop standing still. The time is not ticking on your dream. It's ticking on your delay.